Welcome, folks, to another TradePicks recap video. Today is Monday, December the 22nd, 2025, and we are down to $19 today. Actually, we recovered a little bit. It was a seesaw, mostly downward battle, but we recovered well. And because red trades are something that is part of day trading and every stock market venture, we tell you right up front that you need to seek financial professional advice before making or undertaking any such endeavor, and make sure you train on the simulator. If you are going to trade, once you are being professionally trained and seeking financial advice that is professional, you'll want to do something like a strategy or a checklist of items that you want to do. This is what I follow. Uh, be a turtle, not the rabbit. Maintain your strategy, keep the discipline, evaluate your trade stock candidates, and let the trade come to you, not the other way around. Today we went seeking for that trade, and thus we're red, but we manage our risk. If you like my videos and the content, please like and subscribe so others can share in its glory. So here's our P&L for today. We started out down $1.17, and notice that we just careen, double down, double, all the way down to 27, 28 bucks. We were down in the morning. And then later in the day, about closing time, I went back in and made a few bucks. Was it about $8 to lower the loss down to under 20? So we managed risk, and it wasn't bad overall considering the market. And we had a chance to play. The price of admission, I think you would say, we took 12 trades. FJET, SIDU, and VMAR were the three. And you can see there, we had two good winners there, 555 and 820, but three losers up there got us being down 7 and 4. I think, right, and those are $20 right there. That was the $20 we lost, and the rest were all itty bitty little amounts that almost insignificant. But it's okay. I mean, it's not it's not a huge loss day. Something that we can overcome. So we're still down for December. We're down 276 on the month. Our efficiency today was lousy because even though our winners were larger than our losers, we took 10 losing trades as opposed to only two winners. So that was the issue. So we'll see. We'll check out tomorrow and see if there's something. We're not expecting too much. And yeah. So I didn't break down the trades individually. I just decided to go right off the bat here and just chopped up the video so that it's not 2 hours long, but kept it at normal speed. And so HXHX was in our watch list, and I had that pegged. I had this pegged. As a matter of fact, I wanted to take a trade even before it hit VWAP down around 53 cents. But I decided to stay. And obviously, as the name tells us up there, Shaoxin Holdings. This is a Chinese stock, and it's no surprise that when I tried to get in, got a big rejection from Charles Schwab, since Thinkorswim doesn't allow you to trade some of these Asian stocks. AZI, which is another one that moved up today, I guess early in the morning, the same thing. I can't trade it. Can't trade this one. And there's a few others I can't trade either. The Chinese under $2. And I've run into this. I think this is the fourth or fifth stock now that I see a good entry and I wanted to go in and I couldn't because it was a Chinese stock and Thinkorswim wouldn't trade it. But I'm not knocking Charles Schwab because I do remember that there was another Chinese stock that I tried to go in with a large amount of shares, and if they hadn't denied me, I would have lost money. So it's there to protect us. So we just got to deal with it. Unfortunately, that was the case. But yeah, I had this stock going all the way to 77 cents. Up there was the resistance, and I thought that 65 cents or the upper band of the VWAP was kind of soft, and so I thought it had an opportunity. Sure enough, went over $1. So, but anyway, we can't fret over it. So FJET was another one that started a little bit late, but we're watching it as well, and it's only 6:37 Pacific time, so the market's only been up for 7 minutes, and so we're sort of iffy on it. And right here, I saw a double top right at that resistance line, and I thought maybe I shouldn't go in, but here in this one, candle bar, it looked a little better. I didn't take any trades on that one, and I continued to watch HXHX throughout the day just to see what it was doing, to see what it could have been, I guess. Not with a tear in my eye, just to watch it and see what folks are doing. And here's the another perfect entry. I would have taken 2,000, 3,000 shares right here without a hesitation, because the everything is in place, and there you go. Boom. Look at that. Yeah. That was a perfect setup right there. You could see it coming. The MACDs are pointing upwards. The EMAs are pointing upwards. Volume was coming in. It was climbing. There wasn't anything else really moving. And volume just started to shoot up. So that was a great one. Now, here I would have stopped trading. I wouldn't have pursued it up to $1. I really didn't think that it had the wherewithal to get up to 90 cents or $1. So, and I don't think I watched it. I think it halted at 84 later on, which I'll show you. And then, but I think it had a harder time from here getting to $1 than it did from 50 cents up to 68 cents. But if any of you were able to trade it and you got in and you got some money, then kudos for you. So we had our watch list set up. VMAR was a continuation. We really didn't think that had any movement. SIDU, that one had been consolidating, and it just had a hard time trying to pass 207. RENX simply died. OPTX died. PRPH was started to show a little bit of a push and then died. Yeah, look at that right here. It's still bullish. Right here, I would have jumped in again. All the indicators are pointing to higher. Now, 1, 2, 3 green bars. That's about the extent. Right about here, I would have exited. And just, if it went, it went. But because sometimes it's not sustainable. There it goes, up to 84 cents and on the halt. I think it had a couple of halts. I think this is one. And then it goes down, and then there's another halt at 86, I think, later on in the day, in the morning. And so, we were all expecting SIDU to really ramp up and go high, but it didn't. It fell back badly. I saw some folks who had difficulty trading it. I saw some folks lose over $300. More than one person lose over $300 on SIDU. And sometimes that's what happens. It's a little too difficult, and you can't try to jump in and assume that the market is going to hold and that the stock is going to shoot to the moon. We're not in that type of market. So FJET, we look at it again at $10. It's a little bit of a expensive, but we decided to go in. It's just $10. It's $100. So venture in, trying to pull $1 out. That was the thought. But yeah, no, it betrayed us right here. You know, who'd have thought, right, that it was going to go all the way up to $34? There was no knowledge. If you knew that, you'd sit right here. You entered, no stop, and just hold it until 34. But we didn't know that. So SIDU here again, it reached 219, and it had been consolidating and looked like it was going to open up here. So we jumped in. But there was no guarantee here. The MACDs are sort of starting to curl down. The awesome oscillator on the 5 minute, it's red. This is just a trade that shouldn't have never been taken. And the only reason I took it was because I had the stop loss set to where if it took me out, it was just, a roll of the dice, and you win some, you lose some. So, but this one had a 75%, 80% chance to flush there, and which is what it did. And sometimes you can't be afraid to take trades, especially if you've got your risk management in place. So in there, I had set a tight stops using the bracket orders. And when you do that, you're not going to lose a whole lot of money. But if you lose $2 and you take 12 trades, that's $24 on a small account. That counts for something. So you want to make sure you don't take too many of these trades. And today, that's the kind of day it was. I couldn't skip it because I thought I saw the futures were moving up a little bit, even though the dollar's still down, and the SPY and NVIDIA were going back up again. So, and even Bitcoin and XRP were slightly moving. Though I checked on Bitcoin in the afternoon, and just as I think, XRP has no support below 184. And I think that before the end of the year, we're going to see another rollback on the stock market. And that's going to take XRP down to 170 again, 176. And that'll be a buy opportunity there to pick up a bargain. Bitcoin, I don't know. I don't think it'll drop. Bitcoin has a lot of support at 84,000. So I doubt that it will go below 84. And I think that's where its turnaround point will begin once it hits 84. Now, it may consolidate for a while, so don't assume that it's a great bargain at 84 and that it's going to go up right away. And the rest of the market, I think, will slowly move up. But it'll be difficult because we don't have any catalysts that are, driving the market upward. The SPY is just based on those stocks that are part of the indices, and the indices have to move up, but tech stocks are not pulling us up. So we went into the first trade. We lost a little bit on that flush, but it looked like it wanted to recover, and we lost a little bit there. We went back into SIDU. Now it had looked a little bit more positive. There's a pattern here, if you can see the large green bars there. Now it's finally starting to move channels, so it looks like this is a slow mover, and I think that was the fake out. It just doesn't have enough liquidity and enough enthusiasm to move up, and there's a lot of sellers. But we were only taking small positions now. We had started with 50 and we had lost, but we hadn't lost a whole lot. As you can see there, we're only down less than $3, 2.5. And here was the little surprise. The MACDs were starting to curl to the downside, but they were also flailing, like they wanted to go up. And then again, small share size, bracket orders, have a stop loss. That way, if you get kicked out, you get kicked out, but it's a very small loss. And you can see there at 207, 208, between 207 to 210, huge numbers of sellers there, the 50,000s. At times I saw it at 100, and it looked like it was finally going to raise above, go above that 210 mark and go higher, because that's what I was expecting. I think everybody was expecting. Having already passed the $2 mark, now it's maybe more attractive. But I think tomorrow we may continue to see more of the same, and it may actually be even slow. So if you do jump in, just look, but don't touch, don't hit those buy buttons, and be very, very selective. And sometimes this will happen. So now here it sits consolidating, not going up, not going down. You're in the trade, you're in the trade. Nothing else for you to do but to watch. You see there again, it looked like it wanted to go up and it falls back. But in this particular trade, we're only down under $1. So finally, did it stop us out? Oh, we're just even. No, it did stop us out. So 2.99, we lost a few cents. No big deal. So it's 7 a.m. Pacific now, and we're continuing to watch SIDU, and now it starts to rise. And there goes the volume. A nice little push. And now here maybe it has life. But we can't be sure yet. We got to wait for a second bar, because that first bar could be a big fake out. And it wasn't a very strong one either. Exactly. Big fake out. Imagine you jump in on there. First candle to make a new high. And it flushes. And this was SIDU all day. And I think that's why these folks lost so much money, because it was faking people out left and right. In the meantime, the SPY is back up to 683, Nvidia's back to 183, and it's looking good. So maybe those will pick us up in January. So just when you thought that this was going to flush down, it starts to pick itself back up again. Quite interesting. A big old battle between the bears and the bulls on this one. You still see the high number of sellers up there on the active trader window. Meanwhile, HXHX had settled down and fallen below down to 77 cents. And FJET was back down to 9.5, and I removed the others because there was really no point in watching anything else other than these three. And HXHX, I just left it on there to see what was happening. So here, huge jump all of a sudden. And I don't know where that came from. I mean, there was no indication at all that that was going to happen. Otherwise, we would have been in there at 209. Would have been nice. That was a nice 20 cent. And I thought I saw somebody who made some money on SIDU. Perhaps this was the bar they did it on. The only indication I had here that I could point to would have been that in the awesome oscillator, that prior bar that was all green, there was a huge buy momentum there. But that's only one indication. Everything else was pointing to more consolidation. And of course, this could have been the 7 a.m. traffic. Folks come in at 7 a.m., a whole slew of them come in and buy, a whole slew come in at 8 o'clock and they also buy. Now, given what it had done for the past hour, it was kind of difficult to trust it here at 237. So we wanted to see a few. I needed to see more than one green bar, more than two, to see if there was going to be another spark up to 250. And I think that's what we're all looking. Well, if it heads to 250, then it might have 275. And notice I didn't have any resistance above 250. My red line of resistance was there at $2. And it had finally overcome that, move into a new channel. But this stock was just weak. And we're hoping that once the stock market turns bullish, that we see stocks like this, and we see that one of those green bars, like that large one there, and we see two or three of them before they drop back down. That's what we're hoping for. So we just got to be patient. It's the holidays. Not a whole lot of people have remained trading. So here we finally, after that little red candle there, decided to buy the green candle to the right. That's squishing that red candle, even though there's a wick there, a longer wick on the top on the green candle to the left of the red. And my thought here is 250. But notice there I've got a stop limit there around 246, 242. And of course, we get taken out. And it was just a matter that I didn't give it enough room to breathe. That was all. That happened on that trade. And the loss wasn't hugely significant anyway, so it's a good thing. But when you're protecting, when you're managing risk and you're protecting your capital uh, via very tight spots, what happens is your settled funds begin to start to get used, and pretty soon your cash starts dwindling down, and it's difficult to catch up. So you have to also manage that. Be aware of how much settled funds you have, not only so that you don't go into the negative, but so that if something does happen, you still have an opportunity to take one or two trades that can try to get you back. Not fully recovered from a red flush, but at least climb back up and gain some confidence. So here we thought there was finally an opportunity that it was going to go up again. And so we went in with and purchased 100 shares, this time in lots of 50s. And now we have two stop losses and two sell limits to manage. And I noticed I started to give it a little bit more room. I moved the stop loss down. And then I see the MACD curving. And I said, oh, here we go again. So at this point, I didn't think that it could do 250. But 245 or 240 might have been possible. Now I was tempted to close out this trade, even with $1 or $2, just to say, oh, winning green trade. But we weren't down that much during the day yet. And for all its behavior during the day, it did have, it had good moves. You know, if you had caught the moves when they started, you could have made money on this one. But that up and down swing of all these candle bars are dangerous and difficult to trade. So I have moved my sell limits down to 235 and 232, I guess, 33, 34. It had almost hit, but it hadn't sold me out yet. So it took one out there, but it was a 233, so it was a winner. 50 shares, a 3-cent winner. And here I let it go, and boom, it did hit the 240 and stopped us out, and we turned positive 20 cents, and I think we were down a little over $5 on this. So that was a recovery. So I let the tape run, a video run, just to see what would happen. At this point, I knew it 250 would be hard. Overall, my impression of the day was that it was, even though we lost $20, it was a good day because we traded, we managed risk. Yes, we lost, but uh, it's we put in the day, we put in the time, and we didn't get flustered. We didn't lose our discipline, and uh, we didn't have a huge loss. So under better conditions, we would have obviously done a lot better. And had we been able to trade HXHX, the day would have been totally different. So we got holidays coming up, and the end of the year, and a couple of more holidays, and then January. So I'm trying to remember what I remember the first months of the year, 2025, because that's where I lost the most money, and they were booming. It wasn't fully bullish, but there was a lot of movement like this, up and down, and you had to pick your stocks. I think I'm better prepared to face 2026 this time than 2025, and so what December will be, and but January we have to start really being a little bit more serious and a lot more picky about the trades we take and looking for good catalyst. So we decided to jump back in again, huh? All right. At 246. So I did think there was some more money to be squeezed out of this beyond 250. But I think I get taken out on this one too. I'm not sure. No, I wind up positive because I wound up positive the day, $5. Notice how close it gets to that stop loss. This is right around 241. So I moved it back. In hindsight, uh, I did have good trades on this one. Maybe I should have gone in with more shares, but it was just too risky. So here is sort of looking iffy as the volume indicators start turning pink into the downside. And the MACDs start to curl again. And that's what you have to look for. Everything you see on the chart there might look like, oh, it's just a small 5-minute pullback. But the MACDs are telling you the real story. And everything's 50-50, right? There's only an up and a down. And it's up to you to decide and interpret all the indicators, and not based on hope, not based on feeling, not based on how much money you want to make for the day or on the trade. It's a matter of watching. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm watching the volume histograms, all of them on the 5 minute, the 1 minute. I see the EMAs there, the white one's the 20, and it just looks like they're going up, right? So one would say, oh, yeah, it's moving up. Look at the 5 minute chart. It looks positive. It looks bullish going up. That cyan EMA on the 5 minute is pointing upwards. So why no confidence? Jump in. But the MACDs don't give us the confidence. They tell us a different story. So there it goes, grinding away, grinding away. I think we're almost done here. I think it takes us out. I gotta get it together so that I can do live streams in the morning. Recap takes quite a bit of time to do and replay again. But I got folks sleeping in the morning, and I tend to have a very loud voice that carries and will wake people up. So here we got another similar pattern. Green bar, red bar. This one is indecision red. And if this one turns green, there could potentially be a move to the upside. But potentially, I said potentially, and it sold us out. So we're cool, and then we insist with FJET, and this stock is just one of the things I've done is once I hit my limit, or I say, you know what, no more, I just quit and move on, and I never go back, and I never stay in tune with what's happening. And I think that if I had stayed in tune with FJET, and I still had, I think, almost $600 to trade with, even if it was at 15, I could have gone in if I seen that pattern. As I'll show you the picks. I didn't record the trades because I was on my mobile trading that stock, which was very iffy as well. I bought it at 27.50. It moved up, and I tried to sell at 29.30, and Thinkorswim didn't take my. It took my order, but it never sold it. It just sat there, collecting dust. So I had to cancel it. I let it go some more, and then went back in and sold it again. So that on the mobile was iffy. But we took several trades on FJET, and the pattern is there. Now, watch this, because right before I took the trade, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green bars, 3 red bars, and then 1, 2, 3 green bars. And I'll show you when we get to the images of that last trade I took on it. It's something to see. But of course, the market is slow. There's no way we could have known that this stock was going to go all the way to 25, all the way to 34. And this was a huge grind. It'd go up, come down to the prior green bar, and then it start climbing back up again. So bracket orders wouldn't have worked for this unless you could guess exactly what the how much it was moving. And you can see there the candle spread is around 30 cents, over 30 cents. So with a spread like that, you're going to get stopped out, which is what happened to me. So you either needed to go no brackets or give it a dollar up and a dollar down. So we got stopped out again, and this was the bigger loss, $15.23. And the MACDs were correct. It was going to go to the downside. So it's 7:36 a.m. Pacific now. We just got taken out on a second trade on FJET. And now we're down, I think this is the point where we're down about $20. Naturally, with the MACDs closed, there really isn't a trade here unless it's going to open back up again. And that was the pattern. So you see 3 more red bars, and here begins a green bar. And here's a few minutes later at 7:47, about 10 minutes later. Look at that pattern again. Green bars, red bars, green bars, red bars. A little bit of a consolidation, and then another nice green bar size, and then a little bit of more consolidation, and then 2 more green bars up to 12:31. And the MACDs, you can see there are sort of overlapping each other back and forth, the signal in the MACD. And I really thought right here that there was an opportunity for it to go really high. And I thought, oh, from 12, maybe it'll hit 14 or 15. But it wasn't to be. We got stopped out again and lost another $5. So now we're down 19, and this was the biggest loser of the day. Meanwhile, back in China, HXHX is on a halt at 96 cents. So imagine we were watching this since prior to even hitting 60 cents. That's crazy. Going with 2,000 shares, even if you don't get the 60, you get 40. That's a nice win for a day. But bygones will be bygones. SIDU had in the meantime moved all the way back right above $2. FJET kept moving up and down. Too much of a spread, I thought. And now we're really here at 8 a.m. And that's what I was waiting for. I said, if there really is a West Coast crowd that comes in at 8 o'clock and starts trading, I'll wait till then. But usually about 8:15, I get very sleepy. I got to go take naps. So I just leave, I just shut down the trading software and I walk away. I leave the monitors on. Those energy savers will shut them down. I go take a nap. And a good nap, I don't wake up until 10 or 11, depending on the day. I'm a night owl. I like to go to bed real late. And so that sort of hurts. Because if I don't go to sleep until 12 or 1 in the morning, and then I got to get up at 4, 5, or 6, then I haven't gotten much sleep. So this is a desperation. We're watching VMAR and VMAR, and we see it moving up to VWAP there, and I do have a fuchsia color line there and another purple line there, sort of telling me there's hard resistance at these levels. But you know what? Let's see if we can get a penny or two, or even half a penny, and make $10 or recover a little bit and we thought it had an opportunity to go over that fuchsia line and perhaps almost hit 32 or even just hit the BWAP. That's all I was looking for. I wasn't even looking for it to go above, but I was going to keep a tight stop on it. I wasn't about to lose too much. But there wasn't much. We hit a $1.80 there on the P&L. I don't think we ever went over that. And this is just because it's fractional, right? Penny stocks are fractional, so you got to trade to the 4 decimal places before it can really go up. So I start moving my limit sell down here. Obviously, it wasn't going to hit 36. And we just caught this one too late. Should have caught it at 29 cents. Meanwhile, HX is up to 99, flirting with the dollar. And what I liked about this pattern here was the MACDs are opened up. The MACD is completely open. So if more volume had come in, this probably would have gone. And at 30 cents per share, it didn't need much volume. But okay. But here we begin to realize there's the pattern. You can see the horn patterns on the 5-minute from the prior days. And I think right here I knew it had been a long shot. And I thought of moving the stop loss, but I said, no, I'm just, let me get taken out. So that was the day. We're down 27, a little over $27. I filed my report and imported it in, and I didn't feel like doing the recap right away. And I went to take a nap at 8:06 a.m. Right now it is 8:48 p.m., 12, almost a little over 12 hours later. But what happened is I went in to one of the news sites, financial news sites, to check on, I forgot what I was checking, XRP. And then I saw this, and I see FJET all the way up to 25. And there's the pattern that I want to show you. See those white lines? You can see consistency there. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. This is a staircase. Well, I'll call it staircase. I don't know what other folks call it, but it's a staircase bullish pattern to me, moving at a 45-degree angle, which is very, very positive. And you remember I mentioned it that we needed to see it when it was down around $11. And it was starting to form that pattern. And it finally decided to move up. And I guess it was about 11:30 Eastern when it finally started to pick up. But I didn't check it. So I think next time I need to do that. And so I took a trade on it, and at 27.50 is where I bought in, because I saw a little small cup and handle there, but I knew that it was going to go to the upside. And I only went in with 10 shares. I had enough for 20, but I didn't want to risk more. And then it started moving, and I thought about buying more at 29, but I said no. And I tried to sell on that first green bar that hit 29 there, and for some reason, Thinkorswim did not let me sell. It just placed my order in there and didn't sell anything. And that's because it quickly dropped down. There's four little bars there, four little red bars to the downside after it hits the first $29. But luckily, it moved back up again. And I thought that there might be a little bit more room. I certainly thought 30, 32 might be possibility, but I wasn't about to take a chance, so I jumped out and sold at 28.32, and that was a nice win, a little over $1.10. And what that does is it obviously reduced my total loss during the day from 27 to 19, and that's more than a third. So that was a good trade. Cut your losses more than a third in a single trade for one day intraday. That's I would say that's good. One fear that I had was I thought, well, what if we hold this? Maybe it might go up higher after hours. But I've been burned before, and it's been very difficult to sell after hours, especially prior to holidays. So I wasn't about to do that. I wasn't about to hold anything else, and so I got out. If we look at the zero lag MACD down at the bottom on the 1 minute chart, there's something I want to point out, and you'll see there the pink bars, and it's a very nice pattern. You got the histogram showing you up volume, down volume. If anybody wanted to sell you an indicator or tell you how to trade and say this is exactly how they made their money, that would be the chart that they would show you, because it's clear as daylight where you should go in, right at the bottom as the volume starts to move up, where you should exit at the top before it goes down. And that's what this stock did there. It had a very nice pattern. And into the closing, excuse me, into the closing, it just sold off, and I think it wound up down quite a bit to 24 or something. I didn't check and see what it closed at. But here's a pattern that you can see from almost 19 all the way to 34. So even if you were at 22 and if you had a similar pattern, you could potentially go in with a tight stop and expect it to go high. And this is in a very bad market. And I don't think FJET had news. I don't remember seeing any news on it. But it worked out. Oh yeah, there's the stop. So it's at 24 the bids and 24.10 the ask. When I took the screenshot, this screenshot was is the time up there? The screenshot was about half an hour ago. So if it's 8:54, it was around 8:30, right before 8:30 p.m. in the afternoon Pacific time. So this is the first slide, and what I wanted to show was that staircase, step up bullish pattern. And if you notice the MACD, the real MACD there, that one is even more nauseous, I would say, because it really doesn't give you an entry and an exit point. The zero lag indicator really shows it. And I had removed the zero lag indicator and thought I was a little smarter using the other histograms, but I really missed it because it really provides support and it offers a little bit more confidence along with the MACD to the top side. So this is just a little close-up. I zoomed in a little closer here to show you So at 27.50 we went into the trade. 28.32 we got out just a few minutes before closing, and it did hit 31 right before closing time. And at closing it did jump up to 34, but then quickly sold off, and then it started its downturn. So this might go tomorrow. FuelJet, it's certainly I imagine that's what it is. What is it? Starfighter space? Oh, I'm off. I thought it had something to do with FuelJet and alternative fuel, but Starfighter space, whatever that is. They're gonna go into space. All right. Well, the rest of the screen, the rest of the video is just this screen. I really don't have anything else to add to it. Uh, I really hope you guys were green, and be careful tomorrow. I don't. I might just look. Certainly, I don't think I'll trade Wednesday or Friday, and I don't know about next week either. Uh, I need to keep a pulse on what's happening in the market, but I just don't see a rally. What I see is maybe a little pullback between now and the week before New Year's. So be careful. Guard your money, and if I don't trade tomorrow, if I don't get on, if I don't leave a recap by tomorrow, then I think I'm done. And I'll be on World of Warcraft and Guild Wars. I'll be playing, and I got a nap too. I gotta work Christmas Day to pay back all the money I lost in November and December. I'm just kidding. I'm not working Christmas Day. I'll be playing World of Warcraft Christmas Day. All right, that's it. That's all for me.